Muslim brought up how to turn down a friend asking for money. She said, working all these years and can't even spare a few thousand in cash. Well, basically, someone wants to borrow money from her, a few $1,000, and she wants to say no, but doesn't know how. Doesn't want to lend, but can't find the words. This can be pretty awkward. A good friend, someone you hang out with all the time, then one day they just straight up ask you, can I borrow a few thousand? How do you respond? You say, no, I can't lend you that. We're not that close. Then they go, I am not that close. Why didn't you tell me before? I thought we were tight. Oh, you say, I don't have money. I'm broke right now. No way you can pull out a few thousand, a few hundred even. Whatever you got, just lend me what you can. That's a headache of a reply too. Dr. Fang doesn't have some perfect answer for this, but let me teach you one trick. Weigh it out. Over all these years, your friendship, what you've given each other, are you in the plus or in the minus? If it's even or you're in the red, you gave more, God bless, then score this friendship, give it a rating. If there's nothing gained, don't lend them a dime. Simple as that. But if you've gained something, you've gained, okay? They were there for you. They were genuinely caring when you were lonely. With nobody to lean on, they gave you warmth. That kind of gain, how much cash are you willing to trade for it? You're essentially buying out the friendship, buying it out. No more emotional debt. You get it. Use that formula to calculate the money. Friendship can be priced, you know. If you owe them nothing or it's negative, don't lend. If you've gained something, convert it into cash. Say it's worth 10,000. Lend that 10,000 and in your heart, expect nothing back. Buy out the friendship, sound fair? Think of it as a breakup fee for the friendship, a breakup fee. Pay it, and once paid, don't expect repayment. A breakup fee doesn't mean you're actually splitting up. It's just a friendship buyout, bought it out. I owe you nothing. That's it. Second, next friend, super mom. Okay, super mom asks, I have a 2-year-old boy. He was with a nanny since he was little. The nanny was strict, lots of rules. The child became very anxious, very tense, obsessed with rules. For example, if they're about to be late for class, he panics, gets ready way too early, even screams when they're running late. How can such a tiny child already be so obsessed with rules, so anxious? How do you help him? Let me stress this again. At 2 years old, a child is in the most intense, most critical attachment phase of their life. Whether it's a nanny, a caretaker, grandma, or even an animal raising them, they bond completely, fuse together to the point where that person becomes their entire world, their whole universe. If that attachment need isn't fulfilled, problems will surface. To secure that 100% attachment, the child will comply with whatever the caregiver demands. So when this 2-year-old is told by the nanny, told by the nanny to follow the rules, this child is forced to fuse their survival instinct with rule following. They become inseparable. Survive means follow the rules. Follow the rules to survive. So this child believes that to stay alive on this planet, you must follow the rules perfectly. Who knows what kind of belief that is, but it's carved deep into their brain. So even now at just 4 or 5 years old, their view of rules isn't like how we normally see them, optional or flexible. Most kids don't even care about rules. Rules? What rules? But not this kid. He's chained to it. So what do? You as parents, as caregivers, must use a much stronger form of this unconditional presence. What does unconditional mean? You don't need to please me. Don't bargain with me. You don't need to follow rules for me to love you. Break every rule. I still love you. Rules or no rules. I love you. That's the mindset. You need to win this heart back. If the nanny drilled rules in 5 times, you need 500 times to rebalance that wiring. That's how serious this is. So how do you show a 4 or 5-year-old this unconditional love? Dr. Fang, let me teach you a trick. Just treat them like a friend. For instance, you ask, hey, would you like some juice? He says, I don't want juice. You respect that. Everything is a question. not a command like, go drink your juice. That just conditions him again. You ask, want some juice? He says yes, give it to him. He says no, don't. Okay, no juice then. Simple as that. You do this 500, 5,000 times, and then he'll finally believe this world doesn't need rules, and you still love him. If he refuses juice, don't get upset. He won't drink juice or use emotional manipulation, giving him a look, a killer stare. None of that. Rebuild his trust in this world. Next topic. Okay, Kai tasks me. Their partner's emotions shift rapidly. One moment fine, the next, a total wreck. Sometimes full of driving ideas and suddenly deep in depression. Not sure what happens, but the depression hits so hard that they just can't do anything. Even in social situations, the depression makes their behavior inappropriate, and these inappropriate actions lead to deep regret. Why did I act like that? Recently, this person's partner's friend suddenly passed away. Their friend died, and the partner plunges right back into depression mode. Let Dr. Fang break this down to help someone with unstable emotions. Let's say there are three modes, A, B, and C. Mode A is a normal, optimistic, proactive state. Mode B is the depression mode. If depression mode causes you to mess things up, mode C is the self-review, the regret phase, cleaning up what mode B wrecked. So 3 modes, A, B, C. And this person may have rehearsed these modes hundreds of times. So their brain has a script. A mode, A script, a mode, B script, a mode, C script. And sometimes they're right on the edge and a traumatic event hits, a life-shaking event, like someone shoved them, and they fall into that pit, fall into mode B's pit, and down they spiral into depression. The pit was already dug and waiting. They just stumbled back into it. They didn't just build that pit today. It's been there all along. They simply fell in. And once they fall in, they want to climb out. So first I need a partner to know, this friend to know, your brain has 3 scripts, 3 pits, 3 types of pits. The mode B depression pit is huge, easy to fall into. Step 1, recognize you've fallen in. You're in the pit. You need that self-awareness first. I'm in the pit right now. I don't just keep saying, why am I depressed again? You didn't become depressed today. That pit was ready long ago. You're depressed. You got to climb out of that pit. Now, from Dr. Fang's medical perspective, as a doctor helping this person, I need to help the brain escape the pit. What they need to do themselves is recognize they've fallen in. What I help with is steering them toward good, away from bad. Mode A is the good one. I want to pull them toward the mode A, using dopamine-based medication to pull them up. That's the pull. When they fall into mode B, the depression pit, I need to push them out using serotonin. So dopamine pulls them up, serotonin pushes them out. Working together to escape the mode B pit. Make mode a bigger and spend less time stuck in mode B. Make a mode be smaller. That's roughly the story inside our brains. Okay, next slide. Miss San says she's 70 years old. For 7 or 8 years, she's faint without warning, hitting the back of her head hundreds of times. Wow, your poor brain is slamming down hundreds of times. Epilepsy-like symptoms appeared during episodes. 3 or 4 people can't hold her down. Wow, if they can't restrain you, that might actually be epilepsy. But tests show nothing. You've been on psychiatric meds for over 30 years. Constant fatigue, what should you do? When I get a complex case like this, Dr. Fang takes a sip of water first. From your description, if it was simple fainting, people could hold you. If it were pure epilepsy, they could hold you too. There's nothing to restrain really. Before you convulse, nobody needs to stop convulsions. Basically, your condition is more complex than simple fainting or epilepsy. You have a degree of psychosomatic dissociation because you're also on psychiatric meds. Sometimes, don't assume our brain, our conscious mind controls every single thing. under extreme stress, we can genuinely dissociate. So you develop these out of control behaviors, and the script for these episodes, you've rehearsed it maybe hundreds of times. What's unusual is normally these rehearsals don't cause injury. You say your head hits the ground hundreds of times, that's a bit extreme. When there's a degree of something between conscious and unconscious psychosomatic dissociation, we usually don't injure ourselves. We still have one eye open, sensing danger. So your case, still getting hurt, still hitting the back of your head. That's quite puzzling. Quite puzzling. But tied in toward this being psychologically driven behavior rather than purely physical, neurological, physiological behavior. That's my read. Because you have this script, you replay it every time. Sometimes accidentally, you do hit the back of your head. Probably accidental, not deliberate. That's my assessment. That's roughly my take. You need to slowly build awareness. You need to trust that inside your brain, there is a subconscious autopilot script running. That awareness will help you break free. Don't get trapped thinking, I must find the reason why. I must trace every cause and effect. You really don't need to be that obsessed. Just acknowledge it. Yes, my brain runs this pattern. Keep your distance. Watch yourself doing it. Then take care of your mind and body, whether through medication or addressing the stuck points in your life. Face them and work through them. Next topic. Mr. K, I need the lamp on and a loud internet personality talking, probably not me, to fall asleep. What's the science behind this? Okay. Sleeping with a lamp on is a bit odd, unless total darkness gives you a sense of fear. Ideally, sleep should be pitch dark for those who keep the lamp on. Here's a trick. Lamp on and total darkness at the same time. Wear an eye mask. That's simple with an eye mask. Lift it off, and it's bright. Put it down, and it's dark. Sleep with an eye mask. Second point. You say you need a loud content creator. Chattering. It's actually redirecting your attention, redirecting your focus. Before sleep, in the quiet, your mind easily drifts to the past, the present, the future, all your worries. Once that starts, your entire prefrontal cortex lights up. Sleep becomes impossible. So you need something to pull your brain outward. That's why people listen to podcasts or watch YouTube. Tom's show is often used as steam material too. Lots of rambling makes you drowsy. But honestly, this method does help you sleep. This approach genuinely helps. Nobody said scrolling your phone is bad either. It helps too. Scroll for 10, 20, 30 minutes and you'll get tired. But some people don't use that tiredness as a tool. When they're tired, they push through. I'm so tired, my eyes are blurry, but I gotta keep scrolling. They drag it out 3-4 hours, right? Normally, when the first wave of tiredness hits, you should put the phone down. Then lights off, eye mask on, play some music, set it to auto stop in 30 minutes. Then lie down, listen to the music, and drift off. The real reason you can't sleep is this. You scroll your phone and people say it's bad. What's so bad about it? Blue light. What's so scary about blue light? The point is, once scrolling makes you tired and redirects your attention, you don't sleep immediately. You get greedy. You refuse to sleep. That's the problem. So there's science behind it. Redirect your attention. Dr. Fang's rule. Good. A bit tired to very tired. Lie down immediately and you'll sleep. Only then lie down. If not, don't lie down. Once lying down, total silence. Best if your mind goes blank and you're out. If you must think in images, pure visuals. No commentary, no words. If after several minutes, you're still awake, get up, scroll another round, tired again. Sleep. Don't be afraid. Next topic. As Wun says, the Guangfu disaster. Maybe you can't save the village, but at least save the people. Why is a local county government doing nothing? People across Taiwan can't stand watching. Everyone rushes in to help, but the county is just a bit slow. Okay, whether it's laziness, slowness, cluelessness on what to do. or just looking like they're doing nothing? 2 reasons. 1. Lack of ability. 2. Lack of mindset. Look, their response to this whole Barrier Lake situation, a negligent, dismissive attitude, like, yeah, so what? It is what it is. It is what it is. No advanced planning. No comprehensive strategy. This reveals the Hualien County government's long-standing habit of organizing events, moon festival barbecues, community gatherings, without ever doing the hard, real work of governance. You knew that lake was sitting there like a ticking bomb next to your house. You should have every plan locked and loaded, including evacuation plans. One order, immediate execution. But no, the central government urged them again and again and again. Some section chief or whatever gets the order, receives the directive, can't react. Because the chain of command breaks down, his boss might be off at a lamb stew stall. The county chief is overseas. Nobody makes a call. And you know why no one can decide? Because even if they knew, there was nothing to decide. Why? Because there was no evacuation plan, plain and simple. They hadn't even registered residents. Steps through G, not prepared, so the whole thing collapsed, total collapse. Normally, organizing a gathering of thousands, they're pros at that, need to bus enchanted people. They'll send shuttle after shuttle. No problem, great at that. But a real evacuation, military trucks waiting for people, and nobody shows up. Then the trucks get swept away by floodwater. A party for 5. No problem, no problem. Evacuate full. That's hard. 3 days and still not done. How does that make any sense? The Hualien County government, their incompetence is on full display. Completely exposed. Still clueless about how to get things done. The central government swoops in. The Hualien County government is clearly what Dr. Fang calls a giant baby. Hit a problem, regress into a giant baby. Not even a child. Straight infant. I don't know. I have no idea. I just can't. Throws them into a giant baby. The Hualien residents themselves. When the big recall vote happened, 60-something thousand still outvoted the 40-something thousand. Those voters showed up with conviction, but when it's time to evacuate, sluggish and stalled. So you raise this lazy, sluggish, negligent county government. And now everyone bears the cost. You all bear it together, understand, bear it together. So whatever kind of citizens you are, that's the kind of government you get. There's a writer named Jin, a legendary Chinese literary figure. Back in the day, he observed the people of his land closely, studied them, and concluded that whatever mindset and thinking a people hold, that's the suffering they'll endure. That line cuts deep. It really does. Meaning, if you've always let the Hualien government coast along carelessly, then when disaster strikes, you'll have to face their helplessness and foot dragging. So wake up. I'm not saying vote for anyone specific. People start thinking I'm pushing some agenda, but you should elect someone who actually does the work, right? What was wrong with Xiao Bai Kim? You think she wasn't good enough? I quite liked her personally. Okay, fine, but they toss her aside. Nobody competent ever survives. The Fu family dynasty, ruling for decades. I'm telling you, generation after generation, generation after generation, a centuries-long full dynasty. Okay? Might as well declare Kyle Hualien independent, rename it the Kingdom of Fu, the Hualien nation, Hualien, House of Fu. Like emperors of old. I'll stop. One topic. Too long already. Thank you all. Mr. Wu here. She probably went to Hualien for disaster relief too. Went to help, and word has it, some volunteers brought supplies, even things like ordered roast chicken, food and such. Then the Hualien County government said no pass, no entry, and confiscated everything. Held it all. That's bizarre. Bringing roast chicken for themselves. Obviously, it's for disaster victims and volunteers, just confiscated for no reason. Now that's where they're suddenly efficient, looking at others, super efficient, but themselves. They ordered lunch boxes from a restaurant 50 kilometers away, bought lunch boxes. People found that odd. Why order from 50 kilometers away for lunch boxes? Could it be part of the Ford family business? Poor speculation, of course. Meaning volunteer supplies get blocked and orders go to some faraway place. A full family enterprise. We don't know, won't make wild accusations. Bottom line, no shady business in a crisis. Don't pull tricks. People's goodwill and patience can be worn down. It really can. This is all a test of the Hualien residents and county government's competence and capability. This disaster, let's all pull together. That's about it. Next topic. Auntie Chen, I'm 61 years old. When I hear things that bother me, I stew in it, upset for a long time. Then I suddenly explode, scaring my family. Gradually, I've been labeled the one with the explosive temper. What should I do? Normally, our brain, when encountered criticism, a negative comment, a jab, sometimes we take that and wire it straight to a survival threat. Oh, someone said I'm no good, especially because we're social creatures. Being rejected by the group, criticized, can feel worse than physical injury because it's isolation. That kind of threat makes us lose control instantly. We fuse it with survival. Under pressure, some people's brains just shut down. The prefrontal cortex shuts off. And then in that moment, they regress to animal-like behavior, roaring like an animal, sudden rage. Absolutely, it does happen. So, for your situation, here's what I recommend. You need to hold it for one full day. Hold it. In that moment, hold it. The next day, still hold it. Wait. Wait until the anger subsides and your brain resets to normal. Then think. Don't react on the spot. You say easier said than done. Of course it takes practice. I'm not asking you to think correctly or rationally. I'm just asking you to not think at all first. Say someone mocks you, say something hurtful. Don't react immediately. Just shelve it. Because the moment you react, it's over. Shelve it. Shelve it. Shelve it. The next day when you're calmer, then start thinking. That's step one. Step two. When you do start thinking, don't demonize the other person and plot revenge. That won't work. Start by hearing their perspective. Listen to what they said. Second, look at it from multiple angles. Why would they think that? Why did I give them that impression? Why did they say those things? Think from multiple angles. This will make the situation much more dimensional. So step one, delay your thinking. Step two, diversify your thinking. Only then can that explosive temper cool down. That fire has always been wired into your brain. You just pull it out when triggered. You can't erase it, but when to use it, whether to use it, that's your call. So delay, diversify, and whatever anger is left, burn it off with humor. Roast it away. Got it. 3 steps. Not easy, but you want to change. You already asked the question. So let's do it. Next topic. Miss Lee. I'm a volunteer in Guangfu. Lately, volunteers keep getting smeared, blamed for causing traffic chaos by flooding in. It's clearly the county's inaction that angered everyone. Police have been speaking up for volunteers, and we just spoke up too. This volunteer from Guangfu, I imagine you went there full of passion, and you discovered that the county government basically left you all hanging, just hanging there. A comfortable, passive attitude, not proactive, or simply incapable. Didn't know how to coordinate. Never practiced with stuff. Only knew how to throw parties. So when the real thing hit, they had no clue. Incompetent. The central government did deploy people. What the central government personnel were on the ground helping, the military was helping. The county, already a giant baby, lying there with no idea what to do. Clueless. People see it. Of course, they're furious. This giant baby needs to grow up. So we must pressure them. You can't keep putting makeup on them. They'll never grow up that way. Next disaster hits, same suffering again. We don't need that cycle. Okay, A healthy democracy grows through this kind of pressure. If you let these slackers with no sense of duty off the hook, next disaster, just watch. It'll truly become the food dynasty. Good. Now, someone also said something like the central government doing this is just their job. It's their job. No need to say thanks. A certain singer posted this. No need for granted. They're supposed to do this. Talk about double standards. When the blue and white camps do the tiniest thing, amazing, great. When the DPP works themselves to death, that's your job. What do you want? I'll tell you this. If this kind of ungrateful attitude and these remarks get amplified and spread, I'm truly worried. Putin's disasters won't stop. I really am worried about this thankless mindset. Hualien's disasters won't end here. Next, the media will surely spin news stories. Oh, like volunteers didn't clean thoroughly. I told them to sweep here, and they didn't. The government lunch boxes taste terrible. Same thing every day. At least switch it up. This kind of news will come. The shelter at night, no fun, no TV, so boring. I'm telling you, the narrative will flip. These disaster victims get manipulated again. Will this kind of news surface soon? Just watch. So everyone, hold on to gratitude. Help each other out. Okay, next topic. Mr. Huang. Because of depression, I've locked myself in for 3 years. I was bullied by peers. It's so hard to break free. Finding Dr. Fang's content has helped me a lot. But is there a gentle exercise for someone with spontaneous pneumothorax? Walking. Obviously. Not strolling. Listen, big strides, big strides, big strides. The most crucial part of walking is stride big, because big strides mean deeper breathing and your entire circulation gets moving. Q is essentially your body's fluid, your interstitial fluid. When you do rhythmic deep breathing with muscle movement, your blood circulation and lymphatic flow both get going. That's the first thing to do. Walk every day. Walk until you feel confident. Walk an hour or two. You'll come back feeling like a new person. Your energy flows smooth out truly. Now, locked in for 3 years, buoyed by peers, buoyed before all this. What can you do? Here's the thing. You've been shut in for 3 years. Stop punishing yourself for someone else's crimes. Stop suffering for other people's mistakes. Start with walking. Walk until it's smooth. Walk until you're confident. Then do simple things. Above all, do not let your life stay frozen. All right, next topic, anything else? Dad Lin. I'm a single dad. I've been grinding non-stop for my kids. But lately, I've been losing all motivation, almost reaching despair. As a man, I have no idea who to talk to. I definitely can't tell my daughter. Dr. Fang, please help me. Okay, I don't know if money is tight. If you can afford it, join Dr. Fang's membership, $100 a month. There's an Ask Dr. Fang feature where you can chat. Those conversations can help shift your mindset. Okay, you're a single parent. If you go down, your child has no one. So you must keep going. You have to keep going. So you work, earn, raise your kid. And it becomes what pointless, right? Sometimes it's not about meaning, meaningful or not. This is your non-negotiable duty as a person who's walked this far. A duty you can't escape. So of course you've endured tremendous hardship. And who do you talk to? Feels like nobody wants to hear you vent. Everyone has their own story. Start by caring for others, hearing their struggles. Then you earn the chance to share yours. So making friends means being good to others first. When they feel hurt, then you get to unload. You have a daughter, right? Why can't you tell her? Of course you can tell her. No matter how old she is, explain in a way she can understand. The act of saying it out loud helps you sort through your thoughts, untangle them. Sometimes you're just trapped in vague frustration, anxiety, and it drains your drive. If this is just a temporary rough patch, talk to your daughter, talk to friends. If it's truly a biological issue, like clinical depression or bipolar disorder, then you genuinely need help. Come see Dr. Fang at the hospital, okay? Don't come on a whim. Come on when it matters. Deal. Want to understand life issues from a medical perspective? Share with all friends and family. Let's improve Taiwan's medical culture together.